So I recently found out I'm addicted to YouTube, and it was sort of like this embarrassing experience that happened to me. And when I found out, I was like, bro, I can't believe this is happening. Like, I was so bewildered that it was almost like, when you have things that happen to you and you kind of like, they're so bizarre and weird that you almost feel like you're in an alternate reality, and there's like a little bit of depersonalization that goes on. Like, that is what happened to me. And when it happened, I was just like, I can't believe this is happening. Like, this is not real. This cannot be happening. It's so embarrassing. And a little bit, I'm gonna share with you guys what happened. And I just want to say, like, I've used YouTube in a very productive way before, through nursing school, through studying, through figuring out how to fix my house, et cetera, et cetera. But I feel like a lot of the time that I spend on YouTube is that kind of mindless scrolling that we do. And there's just some days when I just feel like I need a little break, maybe for my kids. Like, maybe I've spent the whole day with my kids, or maybe it's just been kind of a stressful day, and all I want to do is sit on my stupid couch and mindlessly binge on my phone YouTube videos. And I feel like that is probably the worst way to use YouTube. And at the same time, I feel like I kind of need it. It's bizarre, but that's probably where my addiction comes into play. And I used to play a ton of computer games growing up. And if you've ever played like Steam games before, you download this platform called Steam, and then you can download games on there. It'll show you the total amount of time or hours that you've spent playing a game, which is kind of crazy, right? And I was thinking about, man, I wonder if YouTube has something like that. I'm sure they have the analytics. I just don't know if we as users have access to it. And as I think about it, I don't really know that I'd want to know the number, because I'm sure it would be astronomically high how many hours I've spent using YouTube. So this is what happened. Let me share with you how I figured out I was addicted to YouTube. So I was on my computer, and it was one of those days when I was bored. I'm just like, I'm going to go on YouTube and see what the algorithm suggests for me, which I feel like is like one of the worst ways you can use YouTube, but whatever. I did it. Okay. So I went on there. I was like, let's just see what the algorithm has to say. So I clicked on this video, and the fact that I can't even remember the video is going to prove my point even more once you hear this story. All right. So I clicked on this video, watched the entire video. It wasn't super long, maybe like 6 to 8 hours or something like that. I mean, 6 to 8 minutes, something like that. And then I was like, okay, after I watched the video, I was like, I'm going to scroll down and leave this comment, because this is what I'm thinking. And you know how YouTube now, it used to not have this feature, but this feature is probably like 2 or 3 years old, maybe 4 years old, something like that. But when you scroll down, if you've watched the video and you've left a comment, you know how it'll put your comment at the top, even if people haven't thumbs it up. It's just so you know, like, hey, this is how I've commented on this video. Well, I go down there, and literally the comment that I was going to write on this video was the exact comment I had written like 8 years ago. 8 years ago, you guys. I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. So here's what's embarrassing to me. One, it's the same comment, like the exact same comment that I wanted to make today was the same comment that I made 8 years ago. It was a kind of an old video, right? So that's kind of embarrassing, because it's like, well, I don't know. I mean, it's just like I'm stuck in the same mindset. Two, the fact that I couldn't even remember that I watched that video just goes to show like how mindless it is. Three, right now as I'm making this video, I can't even remember what the video's about. Like, that is how bad my addiction is. And it just makes me think, bro, why do we spend so much time on YouTube? It's crazy. And I can't even remember the video. And what's probably going to happen is YouTube's going to recommend it to me in another 5 or 6 or 7 years, and the exact same thing is going to happen. It's like that one movie. I forget the movie, like Groundhog Day maybe, where you just kind of keep, the actor just kind of keeps repeating the same thing over and over and over again. It's kind of like that, except what's scary to me about it is I don't remember it. Like, I don't remember any of it at all. I don't remember all the stuff that I've watched on YouTube. And so that's how I figured out how I'm addicted to YouTube. And I'm sure I'm probably not, like, as I've aged, one thing that I've realized is that when you think you've had some sort of experience that is unique to you, it's not unique to you. Like, someone somewhere out there has had that similar experience. So I'm curious, if you're watching this video and that's happened, like, please let me know. And it'd be awesome if you had like the video and the comment left. That'd be super cool to read. But yeah, it's crazy how we spend our time on YouTube. And I also think YouTube now is so much different than it used to be. Like, I'm older, right? As far as kind of like the YouTube generation goes. But I remember way back in its infancy, way back before it was commercialized. I mean, you had this kind of grungy basement feel to a lot of videos where people were just putting up shit because it just kind of interested them. They thought it was funny. There was no secondary gain that they were trying to get from the video other than just the fact that they wanted to share with the world. Like that I think is pretty cool. And I don't think YouTube's ever going to go back to that, unfortunately, because of the whole commercialization of it. But I also don't think that commercialization is necessarily bad. Like it's brought so much more content to YouTube than we think we could have ever imagined possible. Yet at the same time, I kind of miss those, what a lot of people refer to as like the golden days of YouTube. The good news is, if you like those golden days and you just want to be nostalgic, you can go onto YouTube, set a little search filter that only searches within a specific date, and then you can find those kind of like super old, grungy videos that a lot of people were making way back in the day. So yeah, and I'm not just guilty with YouTube, like I'm also guilty with TikTok, and I feel like they both have a little different feel. One thing that's nice is as I was like mindlessly scrolling through TikTok a few days ago and was staying up way later than I should, I all of a sudden came across this video that told me to go to sleep. Literally, the video was like, hey, you've spent enough time on TikTok, like go to sleep. And I'm almost like, I don't know if TikTok had that. I was like, why would they do that? You know, maybe it's like part of their social responsibility thing or something. It had like TikTok something, but it was like, hey, you spent some time on TikTok, time to go to bed. I was like, bro, my phone is telling me to go to bed. And actually it is time to go to bed. I've been spending way too much time on here. Let's go to bed. And it like worked. So it'd be nice, like, I guess if you're going to mindlessly scroll, it might be a good idea to set a timer. Like maybe that's what I should do is be, okay, if I'm going to mindlessly scroll, there should be a time limit to it. And in my head, sometimes I'll do that. I'll be like, I'm going to watch 3 videos. And then the next thing you know, I'm like, bro, 3 hours has passed. Like what happened? So I think I'm going to probably start trying to do like a timer anytime I'm like, okay, this is mindless scroll time through YouTube or TikTok, I'm gonna set myself a timer. We'll see how that goes. And I'm sure I'm not the only one addicted to YouTube. Like I bet there's people who've spent way more time on YouTube than I have, but I'm kind of curious, like for those of you out there who have had an addiction to YouTube, like what have you done to curb your addiction? And what are some little tricks or strategies that you use to minimize the amount of time you spend on YouTube? Real curious to see. But yeah, that's my embarrassing story. Like I just can't believe that it was, and when I say it was the same comment, like it was literally word for word the same comment I was going to write. It was only a sentence, maybe like 6, 7, 8 words long, but still the fact that like 8 years later, I was going to write the same thing. That's got to be telling of something. Like there's something else. If there's like any psychologists out there that are watching this, like tell me what is going on with me? What is going on? Like how would I write the exact same comment after seeing the same video 8 years later? Like it makes no sense to me.